Hey everyone, I just wanted to come on and say hi really quickly and say thank you for your patience and understanding. You may have noticed that the last bi-weekly readings did not come out. For any of you who just don't follow me on social media yet, just so you know, my dad was in the Lahaina fires and we could not find him for days, and it's a whole ordeal. We were able to find him. He is safe. He's 83 and nearly blind, so this is a very big deal. So we're really happy that he's alive, even though he lost everything in the fires. So it's just been hectic and I'm trying to catch up. So these readings are me catching up, but I just wanted to say thank you for understanding that I wasn't able to get those out for the last bi-weeklies. So without further ado, let's get into your reading. Hey Sagittarius, this is your bi-weekly-ish reading. So we are getting back on track with the readings, and this is for Sagittarius sun or rising from the full moon, which is a blue moon, on August 30th, to the new moon in Virgo, which is on September 14th, which is a day before Mercury comes direct, right? It's the 15th and the 16th. So we are taking a look at the waning phase of the moon and looking at what is the area of life that you could most benefit from doing some inventory and some spring cleaning type of stuff, clearing out the cobwebs that would ripple effect and benefit all areas of your life and the momentum that you really want to build. So every month, no matter what is happening with the astrology, we have this undercurrent, totally appropriate for the moon, but we have this undercurrent where we can work with, for this approximate 2-week period of time, this waning energy, right? We've just come to the point of culmination with the moon's energy, and it gets like pregnant and bursts, and now we have like this release, right? And that release isn't always bad. That doesn't mean always needing to let go of people or things or whatever. It can, and it can also mean like releasing things out into the world, like projects or whatnot, right? And also just clearing out. I think I tend to really go with like the clearing out of energy that is not really serving us anymore. So we're looking at what area of life this is happening in for you, where this is that would be of the most benefit, have the best ripple effect for you, right? Actually, I was feeling that card and then they all fell out. I was feeling this one. So we're gonna go with that. All right. All right, Sagittarius. So we're talking about my favorite house of all time. So this is the 5th house. So the 5th house has to do with our creativity. And you don't have to be like a sculptor or a painter in order to be creative. Like you can be creative with math. You can be creative in creating a jet engine, the design for that, architecture, like all kinds of things, right? So yeah, it's the ways in which we're creative, and it has to do with children. And that can also be not just you having children, whether you have them or not. This could be about like that appreciation of childlike innocence and wonder and awe about the world, and being inspired by that youthful, curious, inquisitive perspective that they hold, right? And so it could very much be in alignment with that, or working with kids, for instance. And also, and this is why it's my favorite house, but it's the house of pleasure and fun. It's the house of sex and casual dating and just all the fun things. So yeah, this is an amazing house. I think it's a beautiful house. Now, when we're looking at it through the lens of how do we work with this energy during this particular moon phase, and we see that part of how you're meant to work with that's coming up is the Chariot card. Right? This is about getting in alignment. The Chariot card is about forward movement that happens from being aligned, from your, whatever you want to call it, higher self, cosmic consciousness, whatever you want to call that. into your intuition, into the way that you like think, the way that you speak and communicate, into your heart space, and into your solar plexus and your will and your drive and your will to go forward. Being in alignment on those upper levels allows you to really have momentum and go forward. So I would say there is an examination, right? We're looking at how do we relate this back to the fifth house, right? Like there is an examination, an evaluation of what is not in alignment with the kind of life you're creating, whether that be through projects or with your dating life or in general, right? Just like when we look at our mental health, our emotional health, pleasure is a huge part of that. Sexual pleasure, emotional pleasure, mental pleasure, like enjoying ourselves, having fun, being playful, all of these types of things, that creativity that comes through, like I said, sometimes like a very youthful kind of inspiration. All of these kinds of things are really beautiful, and they feed our lives in these ways where I think sometimes when we're so busy with like adulting, we can let them fall to the wayside or just kind of not put as much importance on them. Like, oh, that's like extra. I don't get to have that. I have to do this. And this is more like, how are you able to be more in alignment with how you want to move forward in your life and what you want to go towards, with being able to integrate these pieces of creativity and fun and play and all the things I was just mentioning, right? And here's the thing, when you are examining this, you might feel immediately or see immediately that there is this contrast. And I like to say that the contrast of what we don't want shows very clearly what we do want. And so we might see very clearly when we look through this kind of lens and look into this area of life, we might actually see what things are definitely not aligned, what practices, what kinds of enjoyment, like it's very possible that there are ways that we believe that we are like experiencing pleasure and enjoying our lives that are like kind of just not even hitting the mark. They're just kind of like the fast food of pleasure and enjoyment, as opposed to like a really nourishing, delicious, like savory meal that's like stick to your bones kind of pleasure. And so you might realize like, oh man, I've been subsisting on like fast food pleasure or fast food creativity. Not to dog on fast food, like I'm just using it as an example, but like there might be a very clear way that you can see like, oh wow, I haven't been allowing myself to have as much depth in this area. And are there people or projects or things that are part of adulting that keep me from being able to really meld these areas together, to be able to bring this back into my life, or to bring it into my life more, so that I can have a pleasurable life while I'm building, while I'm growing, while I'm doing the things that I'm doing, with all my responsibilities, with all those things, right? So like, how can you look at this? I mean, with sex, this is the world of sex as well, right? Like with your sexual health, with your sexual pleasure, with your sexual creativity, with your, like being fulfilled. So these are some ways that you might be able to see what needs adjustment. And this is not to be like, anytime that I talk about these things, this is not coming from a place of like, oh, just get rid of people and like be extreme about things. It's more like, if you see that there are people or projects or things that are seemingly like roadblocks to what it is that you want to experience, this is a time where maybe you can get creative about how you want to proceed, or you can have conversations that are negotiating or clearing or clarifying and bringing into new understandings, like what is needed for you to have a more rounded and healthy and nourishing life for yourself, right? So there are just like things to examine, and there are things to see like, okay, how can I work with this energy in a way that allows me to bring more of this in? And it doesn't, again, have to be so extreme as to say like, I'm cutting people out. By the way, if you keep hearing those noises, that's my cat. So anyway, I hope that this feels clear and helpful for you. And if it does and has brought you any insight, please consider giving the video a like and subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss any of these videos on the horizon. Also, as it's out of my comfort zone to say this, but my dad is nearly blind and 83 years old and lost everything in the Lahaina fires. So I am trying to share his GoFundMe with as many people as possible. So his link is down below. If you know of people in your community who feel like they want to help or they want to contribute to people who are directly affected by this, then please feel free to share the link with anybody that you think would be open to it. And if not, no hard feelings. No guilt, no shade. So I just want to mention this because my dad is, I believe, an amazing father, and I just want to help him out. So thank you for your time. Thanks for being here. I will see you in the next video. Bye.